Right now on the phone, we have one of the directors of one of the funniest movies of all time, David Zucker, along with his brother Jerry and Jim Abrahams, directors of Airplane, Airplane 2, the Naked Gun movies, Hot Shots, many others. But for Airplane, they have written this book, Surely You Can't Be Serious. I've gone through most of it so far. It is a hilarious tale of how this movie and how you guys became movie makers and stuff. And I just want to start with this quote from Peter Graves, who said, referring to the script for Airplane, probably the worst taste I've ever seen from any piece of material, ever.
Right. He said that when he first read the script, probably because he probably started out by only reading his parts, which is what I learned subsequently that most actors do. So, but fortunately, our executive producer, Howard Koch, who was an older guy even then, knew Peter and had him in to meet with us. And I think he was surprised that we weren't a bunch of drugged out weirdos, having written that kind of material. So I think we convinced him that he should do it. And also his wife and his daughter read the script. They loved it. They convinced him. So he said, I might as well try it.
It's funny that you say that. Like he probably I'm imagining him now just reading his parts going, you like old gladiator movies and, just reading those lines. And I, from what I'm reading, and Surely You Can't Be Serious, that was one of the harder parts to film. Because if something was in just the wrong tone or if he looked the wrong way, it would be construed as overly pedophile, right?
Yeah, we had to walk a tightrope, and I mean the first part of it was just in the casting. Had it been a comedian, oh my God, that would not have been funny, Right. So if you had Chevy Chase or Bill Murray, they were the comedians of the time, if they had been doing it, it would have been. It's just like you have to tread the line of bad taste, and I think most of the time we stayed on track.
I think that treading the line of bad taste, I don't want to say easier may be the wrong word, but you had these actors, you had Peter Graves, Robert Stack, Lloyd Bridges, and Leslie Nielsen. They were all like dramatic, or action actors. They weren't known for comedy, and I think that that was the key, right? You talk about it in the book, and a lot of people talk about it. You got to play it straight,
right? Well, the whole idea of doing Airplane originated from we would watch these old movies, and we thought they were the funny thing, and not the comedies of the day. And so one night we recorded this movie on our videotape recorder, and in the morning because we wanted to get commercials to spoof, but we got more interested in the feature that was playing, which was a 1957 black and white movie called 0 Hour. And all these things are like unintentionally funny. And 0 Hour actually had the line in it, word for word, we have to find someone back there who not only can fly this plane, but who didn't have fish for dinner. And they said that totally straight. And so our first thought was to redub it. But then we thought, why don't we just recast it? And that's how the whole idea emerged, that straight actors would be funnier than, Jerry Lewis style comedians.
There's a lot of formulas of comedy, but one of the formulas is the surprise factor. So you don't expect it from these guys, right?
Right. Well, I think most comedy kind of depends on a punchline that you don't really expect. So this was a punchline that never ended. I mean, because you just didn't, nobody expected people like Leslie Nielsen or Peter Graves to come up with lines, have you ever seen a grown man naked, that kind of thing. And it was so out there. And, the first, we insisted on directing it because we just knew that no one else would have understood this. And we had the casting and the studio really was reluctant to have us direct it, and they finally agreed with the provisor that they could fire us after 2 weeks. So the first day's dailies happened to be I Am Serious and Don't Call Me Shirley, and everybody, all the executives in the screening room cracked up. I mean, they got it all of a sudden, and these are we tell the story in the book, and from then on we avoided being fired.
You mentioned Peter Graves' wife and kid urging him to do this, and it seemed like that was a pattern with Lloyd Bridges. It was Jeff and Bo who were saying you should do this, and then with Robert Stack, wasn't it his wife saying, "I think this is funny. I think you should do it."
Yeah. Right, yeah, and Robert Stack, we tell the story in the book. Robert Stack is saying, but there are 3 young kids directing, and it's like Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland. Let's do a show. I mean, really, is this really going to work? And so, and we offered Robert Stack a piece of the back end, to try to save money on the front end in the budget. But he said no. He didn't want any piece of it because he really didn't have any confidence in it, although he was so great on the set. He was wonderful. I expected, Elliot Ness and a guy with a submachine gun and,
right.
humorless. Stack personally was very funny, raconteur. He'd tell stories and joke around, and he was a great guy. So, I mean, I remember when we cast him, we coming straight out of Milwaukee, really, we thought we had, that the image that he had projected on the Untouchables. And my sister had called us up after she heard the news that we were casting Robert Stack. She said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you get to tell Elliot Ness what to do," and because that's how we thought of these guys.
Yeah, these guys were like they were leading men. They were in commanding roles, and then you had them say just these amazing lines. The Robert Stack pulling the sunglasses off with sunglasses under it. It's just.
We had done that bit on stage. Actually, one of the characters, one of our actors, we had 2 pairs of sunglasses, and a lot of some of the bits came from Kentucky Fried Theater, which we ran in L.A. for 5 years in the 70s before we did Kentucky Fried Movie.
That's also a fascinating story, and part of this book is the origins of Kentucky Fried Theater, Kentucky Fried Movie, which was so influential. I mean, it was basically it's Saturday Night Live. Lorne Michaels, I think you say in the book, Lorne Michaels went and got the idea for Saturday Night Live from going to see Kentucky Fried Theater.
Right. We ran a show in L.A. on Pico Boulevard in West L.A. called My Nose, and we called it that because we didn't have any ad budget, and so our weekly L.A. Times calendar section listing said My Nose runs continuously. So, it was that kind of stupid joke that got people interested, and so that show we actually wrote the first version of Airplane before we did Kentucky Fried Movie. We just couldn't get the airplane script financed, so we did Kentucky Fried Movie. But it turned out that was the right thing to do because we learned how to direct from John Landis, who directed Kentucky Fried Movie, and then we went back and we actually kind of knew what we were doing for Airplane.
It was amazing you got any of those movies made in the beginning. You didn't even know, and according to the book, you didn't even know what a screenplay was. I mean, that's how naive you were.
We saw John Landis on The Tonight Show, and he was a 21-year-old kid who had done a low-budget movie, so we called him up, and we had lunch with him, and we said, we want to do a movie. And he said, well, first you need a script. And we said, we know that, but what does one look like? We had literally never seen a movie script. So he loaned us the script that he had written for American Werewolf in London. And so we read that, we used that as the form. And so we started typing up a script, for Airplane.
I want to ask you, because we got just limited time here, but I want to run some of the things, some of the more obscure things in the movie, things that I've noticed watching it 6,000 times over my lifetime. And I'm just going to ask you whose idea was it, yours, Jerry's, or Jim's? And I'm going to start with the horse in the bed.
We only know a few. There's a few jokes, and we say it in the book of who thought up what, because we made it a point, or we just forgot who wrote what. We literally didn't care. The whole thing of our collaboration was trying to do this funny movie and this unprecedented way of doing a movie, and we didn't care about we didn't keep track of who thought of what. And so today we honestly don't remember. There's one bit where Jim says that I thought of the one where Robert Stack says that's just what they'll be expecting us to do, something like that. Mm-hmm. And there's a couple of things that Jim to like. When Julie says, "I like to sit on your face and wriggle," and remember those because Jim often would type up jokes. And watch Jerry and my reaction when we would read them. But like, "Don't Call Me Shirley," we honestly don't remember who came up with that. Often it was a collaboration. Like, there was another joke where Lorna, the stewardess, says, "I'm very scared, and besides, I'm 26 and I'm not married." One of us thought of that. The other two guys came up with the other lady that comes in and, "Well, I'm very scared too, but at least I have a husband." And so,
I love that scene.
And all of those lines can be delivered by actors. We didn't need Jim Carrey or Eddie Murphy to do those lines. And we knew that 40 years ago. So that's really how it went.
That's really the key to all your movies is just play it straight.
Right.
Julie Haggerty said it in the book. It's like I'm selling Tupperware in the jungle. I gotta right. Play it all the way, right?
And don't try to be funny. And the most frequent direction I've ever given to actors since then is let the lines do the work. When Priscilla Presley came in for the table read for the first Naked Gun, she was very nervous. She said, I just don't know how to be funny. I said, you don't have to be funny. Just let the lines do the work. And she was perfect. I almost never had to direct her. She was so good because she was just acting.
And same thing with Leslie Nielsen. I remember reading an interview with him saying, "I'm not a funny guy, but I just say funny things." And it's
exactly
his timing was the best, though. That was really
right.
Yeah,
because he used dramatic timing. It wasn't even comic timing. But his timing appeared to be comic timing. But it was all played like drama. And a lot of that we got from growing up in Milwaukee from my dad. He couldn't tell a joke to save his life, but he would say funny things just with a straight face. And, not wink, not go ha ha. And then if somebody laughed, they laughed. If they didn't, he just went on. So I think that's where we got it from.
Well, I'm just going to ask about two more things, just two more. One, whose idea was it to have the naked woman jump in front of the camera during the panic scene?
Again, I can't figure out who would have came up with that, except that we're all obsessed with breasts.
Yeah, and thank you for that. By the way, I'm not saying that, and then the Kentucky Fried Movie shower scene.
That's right. Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah,
just wonderful. I mean, if thank God you guys have remained like you're full grown adults with the brains of 12-year-old boys, and I so appreciate that.
That's the key to it, and I think that it's revealed in the book page after page.
Yeah, and then I have to say, one of the greatest movie experiences of my life. I mean, laughing, crying, almost wetting my pants as a 12-year-old boy seeing this movie for the first time. When that hit the fan, it was like a dream come true. It was just, it really, for a 12-year-old boy, because poop and farts, man, poop and farts. And then there's shit hitting a fan. I think I almost threw up. I was laughing so hard. I was crying. My friends were crying. We may have missed the next 10 minutes of the movie because we were laughing so hard.
Well, that's good because then you had to pay to see it again.
Oh, dude, I can't even tell you how many times I've seen this movie. Unbelievable.
That's good to hear.
Well,
but the other thing I need to remind you is that we did not do Airplane 2. So we did the first Airplane, but we did not Airplane 2.
Oh, God. Well, you did Hot Shots though, right?
Yes, we did Hot Shots.
Fantastic. And then the Naked Gun movies. Oh my God.
And the Naked Gun, scary movies.
Yep.
3, 4, and 5, and basketball.
Oh, that's right, basketball. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
and Top Secret, you may have seen that.
Oh so, my God, Top Secret.
There've been a collection of movies. Also, one obscure one is Brain Donors, which is also pretty funny, I think.
I don't know that one. I'm going to have to seek it out. Definitely.
Yeah, try Brain Donors. Yeah, it's a kind of a Marx Brothers style
Oh, okay.
comedy.
All right. Well, David Zucker, thank you. You know, it's not often I get to thank someone like an artist or a musical artist or a movie person for all the laughs or all the entertainment in my life. I just want to thank you for the hours and hours and hours of laughs from you and your work with your brother and Jim.
Okay, I appreciate that. Good talking to you.